Hi, I'm here with Shannon MacKinnon right now, and she is one of the lovely authors in our newest book releasing February 2nd, 2022, We Are All Made of Love. It's a collaboration book that has authors sharing stories of connection, synchronicities, spirituality, challenges and triumphs, and tributes to special people and animals. It's a very vulnerable and heartfelt collection that'll help restore your faith in humanity and remind you of the true reason we're all here, transcending the odds through love, connected as one with each other, and made of love. And we are so excited to share that with you in February. And today we're going to be talking to Shannon, who has 3 pieces in the book. And I will tell you a little bit about her. Let me just grab her bio. Oops. Shannon is an actress, TV host, commercial model, and she's acted in such shows as If I Should Die, which was an investigative discovery, and Homicide, Hours to Kill, and Amazon Prime UK. She has created and hosted Cable 14, Hamilton's The Artist Toolbox, and Lily's Life Lessons for Your TV Kojiko. She's thrilled to be a part of this book and honor her friend Jason Kerr, who passed away far too soon. A special thank you to the Kerr family for their support for this publication. And her pieces are titled Dear Jason, Love and Grief, and The Courage to Love, and they can all be found in the chapter called The Courage to Love. I actually snagged her title from her one piece as the chapter title. So
I noticed that and I was like, yes.
It just seemed to perfectly tie all the pieces together in that chapter, and I'm really grateful that your pieces fit so well in with all of it.
Cool.
We have 3 different authors that have written about a very sensitive subject, that have lost different partners or ex-partners to drug addiction and suicide. And I was really touched when I saw these pieces come in for the book, and I was touched when I saw these pieces come in for the book, and it was important to me to connect those authors even before anybody else saw the manuscript, because their journeys were so similar, yet the way that they shared the experience was so different. And so that was really exciting for me to have these different perspectives included, because it is such an important topic. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that, Shannon?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it was cool knowing and hearing that people kind of went through the same experience as myself, because you felt like less alone. So for me, I had a boyfriend named Jason, who I met when I was 20 and started dating him when I was 21. So he was 6 years older than I was. I was pretty naive, just gonna put that out there. I did not know anything about addiction. I had never done drugs. I barely drank. Like, I was pretty like goody two shoes, but I just really liked him, and we had we had a similar sense of humor and we got along well. So even though like when I first met him, I had that, okay, well, you've struggled with this, that's okay, but you're overcoming it. I kind of just blindly went into something because I really liked the person. So then, the play Dear Jason is more about the initial kind of seeing like the whispers and the signs of like someone struggling. And for me, I kind of had like this, almost like this view of, well, when I'm around, he doesn't drink. And when I'm around, what drugs? There are no drugs. He doesn't do that. And like, he seemed happy and positive. And like, I was like, I don't see any issue of mental illness or any issue of an addiction or whatever. And I kind of had that thing of like, oh, I'm saving him. I'm really helping him when I was that age. And then throughout our relationship, I kind of had a moment where I was like, girl, you can only do so much, and really he's making a choice. And like, it was like, no, like I always had this thing of no, I can fix it, but really I could not fix something that he struggled with. It was hard, the ups and downs, but through that, we did have like on like an emotional level, we had a really nice relationship. We got along really well. It's just he had some demons he had to deal with. So that's what eventually led to, you know, the end of our relationship. And years went by, you know, it was one of those things where you wish someone well, and years went by, and then it was just funny how the whole process of how I found out that he died is was a very, like, for me, a very spiritual experience. I'm very much aware that not everyone may understand my story because there is a very spiritual element to it. And
There's
that's
there's
okay.
a there are a lot of there's even like a whole chapter in the book called Spiritually Connected, where you
Mhm,
know we have a chapter in there called Love Beyond Sight, which deals with sort of like metaphysical perspectives on things and like shifting perspective, and then we have a whole chapter about
mhm.
Spiritually Connected. So it is something that um it people will connect who are meant to connect with it. I know that for
Yes,
sure.
yes,
And
yes.
you had a very interesting synchronicity lineup as well when you were talking, like when you decided about doing the play, and we won't give it all away because we want people to read your pieces, but you had an alignment happen, which there's so many different alignments happening with this book. Like Jason passed away the day before
Mhm.
the day that we're
We're like,
launching the book,
yeah.
and you know you did your play at the Staircase Theater that his
Mhm,
sister was going to be going to, and on
mhm,
his birthday, and you
mhm,
know it ran until her birthday, right? And did you want
mhm.
to talk a little bit more about that, as that was really
Yeah,
magical?
it's so crazy how many, yeah, synchronicities there were about it. That's where I don't know, that's where, like, my mind opened up to, like, there has to be something more because so much is happening.
Yeah.
The energy around that time, I don't know, girl. I still, like, I think about that period of time, even in writing of the play, because there is stuff that, like, is published in the play that I said in the theater, but I left out in the book because I just didn't think it needed to be there. It was like other, like, maybe more like just stuff that happened like within like the summer that was like very unnecessary to the point of the play. But yeah, no, like with his sister and like with again, like it's a very odd experience when you're mourning an ex because like on one hand you're very much have moved on and moved forward, but you there's a mourning that you can't really you don't you're mourning your old self, you're mourning the situation, you're mourning for their family. And then when you're getting signs and symbols, you're like, but this feels right. But then when you and it's natural to have maybe other people being like, what are you doing? Like this is next. What are you doing? And then you're like, no, it's not like I'm in love with a ghost. It's something different. Like I know it is. So it's
And
interesting, but
you expressed it so well in the book as well. Like
oh,
it's
thank
like
you.
I love the fact that we were able to have your one piece, the love and grief piece, and then we were able to also include the actual play Dear Jason. So like in the love and
Mhm.
grief piece you quote some of the play, and then we were able to actually include the full
The
play
play.
as well, and that to me just felt like very complete with everything.
Yeah, it almost I like that too because it almost maybe explained it a little bit more of like of the piece of and that's the thing like it's funny for me like I'm 29 years old. Like I've experienced I think more grief than most people have for someone of my age, just because of you know working in a hospital and just certain scenarios. So I'm not a stranger to the emotion.
Well, and
But
I think that's actually one of the things that, like being on my end of things and seeing the whole scope of all the authors, I think one thing that ties all of you guys together is the resiliency and the courage and the
mhm,
strength that like nobody in the book is without their share of stories and
mhm,
heartache and courage and
mhm,
things they've had to face. And you know it provides this courage and strength to the book that I think is really going to help people to connect with and feel like they're not alone. like you said about
Yeah,
the other, like the specific tie of the three of you having experienced such a similar situation and writing about
yeah,
it, you know,
yeah,
it's that's a tie throughout the entire book as well, with all the authors.
absolutely.
And I think that's part of what makes it so special and beautiful.
Well, thank you for saying that, because actually I was thinking about that this morning of like, because I knew we were going to do the interview, and it was like, well, pretty much like Love and Grief and Dear Jason and they all have the same like invisible string going through them of like of resiliency, of honoring, making something that was supposed and is tragic but into something. There's a beauty that can come out of the most worst horrible thing. And that's how I would like my legacy to be. That's how I would like to be as a person and run my life, because horrible things continually happen. So that's how I would like to go about the world. So thank you for saying that, because that's literally
and,
my
and then
goal.
that's a great wrap up message as well with everything, is that, you know, it's the compassion and the awareness that you draw for addiction and mental health struggles, in your pieces and in your daily life is very inspiring, especially from someone like myself who has that in their history as well. And, you know, being able to see other people advocating for, the acceptance and help for people who can't always speak up for themselves is really beautiful. So thank you for your warm heart and
Oh,
the beauty that you share with the world. So
aw, thanks, Andy.
is there anything that you wanted to share about what you're working on or what you're doing? I know you had mentioned before we started, that this is not the first time that you're getting published, that you've actually been published in Chicken Soup for the Soul as well as with
Mhm,
the Poetry Institute. So
mhm.
congratulations on that. That's
Oh,
amazing.
thank you.
And did you want to share a little bit more about that or any projects that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so for Chicken Soup for the Soul, the book that I was published in is called Dreams and Premonitions. It has to actually, again, deal with grief. Grief is like a force for me to write. It was about my best friend Patrice. Um, and the book is her final, or like the story is her final lesson. In terms of the Poetry Institute, it's kind of funny. I've never really like promoted much about it. It's more just like things I've just put out into the world, and I'm like, whoever reads it reads it. I'm definitely, there's always like creative thoughts going on in my head. So I hope this is not the last for me. There's more coming. But nothing has like fully come out yet that I can promote. But believe me, girl, things are coming.
Well, and usually people who hang around me long enough end up publishing their own book too. So it's
Just so you know.
just so you're prepared for that.
Okay,
that's
cool.
that's the side effect of being my friend.
Yeah, that's a good side effect. That's why that lady that you mentioned was like, you can make my dream come true.
it's
Awesome.
it's it's a beautiful process of things. I don't know if there's going to be another collaboration book, but I say that every time as well. And so we'll
Yeah.
see what the future holds. But for right now, I'm really excited to be launching this one in February. It's, you know, we're launching it 11 days before my 40th birthday, so that's really exciting.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
know, it's, yeah, there's, you know, I'm turning 40 next year, you're turning 30, and
I
like big
am.
milestones.
I know, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. What?
Well, I'm really excited and grateful that you were able to be part of this book and that you were able to join me today for the author interview and share a little bit more of your story. And I hope that, you know, it helps to inspire people to check out our new book and,
Mhm.
you know, make sure that you read Shannon's pieces and like give her a little nod to let her know that, you know, how it affected you and how
Yeah.
it touched you. We would love for you to share an Amazon review, or, you know, you can contact us directly as well, and we
Mhm.
would love to have that. And if you purchase on launch day, you're going to get a bunch of extra bonuses as well from the authors, which is really exciting. Otherwise, you can contact Shannon directly if you want to buy one of the books from her as well. And Yeah, I think that sums everything up nicely. So thank you so much for joining me here today, Shannon, and I look forward to
Thank
connecting
you.
again soon.
Thank you.